Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year. I think this is the first time I saw
Happy
you
New Year.
since last year.
Right, where are you?
We rented a place in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, what happened to your other place?
It's rented.
And your house?
Rented also. Yeah.
Wow,
We're busy.
indeed.
Ready. One's ready. All right. Fun Day Sunday's underway. Everyone that showed up on time, just Mark and myself. Kirsten's busy in the background there.
No, I'm coming.
Poking fun at her. Anyways, to get started today, we're going to come to the center part of our mats. We're going to bring both feet together and we're going to turn the orientation of the toes to splay or open outwards. Give us an opportunity to bring the heels together. And once the heels are together, I'd like you to try to draw the knees straight so that the sides of the legs and the bottom of the legs have a touch point, like you can feel them touching. From there, I'd like you to take your belly and I'd like you to hollow out. But to do this today, I'd like you to kind of pull from the base of the belly and pull in and then up. And then while we maintain that nice activation through that gut of ours, I'd like you to take your chest and make it proud. So proud today is actually pulling the shoulders back. And now that we have them back, I'd like you to pull them out and away from the body. It's a different type of muscle activation. It may be hard to realize, but just give me your best effort at it. The arms just fall by your side, take the back of the head and pull it to the sky. And then take the back of the head, pull it diagonally backwards. You're going to feel your chin gripped in, but I don't want you to purposely draw in the chin, excuse me. Let's open up the palms to face forward. And then rotate the thumbs backwards so you feel a nice expansion across the chest. Now let's check in with the feet. Does it feel like you're kind of like floating around, maybe from side to side?
Yes.
Yes. Good. This is your body kind of reorienting itself in a little bit of space. It's not a usual position. And then what I'd like you to do is lean.
¿A qué me está hablando en el oído?
So we're not using any other joint but the ankle itself.
Estás en la clase y no la puedo.
¿Qué es la clase?
Ok, pues avísame cuando termine porque hay un problema con internet.
Okay.
Make sure everyone's muted, please. Go all the way over to the left. Come back center. And then sweep the arms, into the sky, all the way up. So can everyone still hear me okay? All right, perfect. And as you reach for the sky now, I'd like you to kind of pull the shoulders right out of their sockets if you can. Let them drift up towards the ears. Use the arms to make them nice and long. And then on the release of the next breath, let the arms fall back down. And then step your heels out so that your toes and heels have an orientation front to back, straight forward, equal distance apart, if you will. Take a big inhale, draw the shoulders up, open the palms, face forward, sweep the arms backwards this time. Take a big breath in, bring the arms forward and up, reach for the sky. As you exhale, lower the arms shoulder height, rotate the palms to face the earth. Take a big breath in and sweep the thumbs together. And as you exhale, sweep the baby fingers backwards. I'm moving from furniture here. Now, use the fingers to pull the arms away from the center line of the body, and then use those baby fingers to get a little bit more rotation for the shoulders. Lift the palms to the sky, sweep them back up, bring hands over heart. Take your heels and step them out slightly so the toes have an orientation towards the middle line of the mat. Let's make sure those knees are nice and straight. We practiced this earlier. Remember how we got the legs straight? Draw the hips backwards. And as you begin to fold forward, we're not going into a full forward fold. We fold, fold, sorry. A little bit of ADD going on there. Now, while we're holding in this slightly prone position, I'd like you to take the heels and try to push them out away from the body. And while you keep that activation, I'd like you to pull the hips back, keep the legs nice and straight, begin to descend a little lower. And then hold on that, take a few breaths. You're probably going to feel some muscles lengthening, which basically means it feels like there's a lot of tension in them. We're going to hold on that for a couple seconds. And then as we inhale again, come back up to standing. Step the toes out so that you're oriented front to back, relatively straight. Take a big inhale. On the exhale, we're going to bend both knees and begin to squat, just like we're sitting back into a chair. So with squatting, I know I beat this horse dead, but here we go again. Let's make sure today we're not pushing the knees forward. We're pulling the butt backwards. And in the process of doing that, I'd like you to hollow out the tummy. Feel those muscles actively working to pull in that whole gut of yours. Take a big inhale. On the exhale, push the hands forward, separate them shoulder width. Thanks. Now that we have a little bit of weight in front of us with our arms, we're going to use that to kind of see if we can lower down a little deeper. I'm going to hold on this, and I'm going to flip the arms up and down just slightly. Good. And then bring hands back over heart. Stand tall. Push high to the sky. Take a big inhale. As you exhale it, fold it all the way down. Walk out to plank, which is basically a walk out of the hands and a step back of the feet, of course. In this position now, I want you to make sure that the head is actively working, the muscles thereof. So let's pull the back of the head up and see if you can get it in terms of height equal to your back itself. Let's take the elbows and spiral them in towards the center and then let them break just ever so slightly away from that. So it's just a slight thing. Pull your hips upward and backward to down dog. Back to plank. Let's put our knees down for this first one and then give me a little push up. Down and then up. Let's lift the knees up and off the earth. Pull the hips up and back to down dog. Come back to plank. Knees optional this time. Hover low and hover high. Pull up and back to down dog. Coming back again. Option knees. Hover low and push back up. As you pull your hips up and back, step your feet forward now. Back to that center part of your mat. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Keep that back in extension. And let's draw your butt back. The purpose here is to get as much weight bearing into the heels of the foot. And each foot, equal weight bearing as we shift the hips left and right. And we find the balance. Keep the back extending as you bend both knees. Keep the back extending as you push the hips back to the sky and fold into the legs. Let the spine go into flexion now. Relax it, catch your breath. We're actively working those erector spinae, the muscles of the back. As you inhale now, extend to a flat back. Exhale, bend both knees. This time, let's walk the forearms up and onto the thighs. Let's see if you can get down deeper into the squat. And when you arrive there, take the right arm, reach it forward. Switch it to the left. Kind of like a skier-like type of position, downhill skier, of course. We're going to alternate.
There an uphill skier?
There is an uphill skier. If you go fast enough downhill, you can go uphill a little bit. All right, let's bring both forearms back down. Push your butt to the sky, fold down, the hands fall to the earth. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Keep the back in extension. Pull butt backwards, bend both knees. Forearms back up onto the thighs. Now let's make the chest proud and grow spine. Pull the back of the head to create the length through the vertebrae of the spine. Let's take both hands simultaneously, reach them forward. Come up, stand. And take it back down, squat. Let's go slowly between these 2 points. As you rise up, I'd like you to have a little bit of focus on what your knees are doing. Are they caving in? Are they spreading out? You can try to control them so that they align with the toes on that foot, the middle toes in particular. Let's lower down. Let's hold down. Let's take the arms and sweep them backwards. Open the palms to face forward. Let's they allow the palms to go side to side. When turning away from the body, take a big breath in. Exhale, lower it a little deeper. I know Kirsten wants to get out of this position. Sweep the hands forward. Inhale, stand tall. Reach for the sky. Exhale, fold. Hands walk forward. Feet step back. High plank. Good morning, everybody. Now, let's take the right knee, drop it into that center part. Take the right foot out like a kickstand and bring the right hand and the knee in the same line. Now, some of us have issues with knees, and I know padding the knee might help. And if it doesn't, you can elevate the knee slightly up off the earth so it's not compressing the kneecap. Now, I'm going to switch sides, lowering hands, stepping out, rotating up on that back foot, stepping the right leg back, stepping the left knee forward, rotating back, taking that hand to the sky, taking that knee up off the earth if you choose, lowering back down, and back into plank pose. Opposite side. Remember, float the knee if it's too compressed. Rotate back down. Set up opposite side. And come back to plank. Let's all meet there. Pull your hips up and back to down dog. Take the left leg, lift it to the sky. Switch it for the right. Switch it for the left. And right. And on this instance, lift the left and step the left foot up and in between your hands. Whoops. Or its best landing point. Mine didn't quite go there. Now we have a stance that's split. With that left foot forward, the right foot back, and we're kind of on our fingertips at the front of the mat. Nice, how that was it. The heel of that right foot. Lift it to the sky. So come up on your tippy toes and then drive that heel slowly into the ground or towards the ground. Mine doesn't quite go. It's all right, yours doesn't quite go. Push back up into the tippy toes. Drive that heel back down. Do it one more time. And while the heel is driving towards the earth, step your hands up and onto that left thigh. There's everyone's free face again. Now, I have a big bend in my knee. I'm not 90 degrees in it, but there's a big bend in it. Leaning forward, and I'm actually going to try upper body awareness and activation. So I'd like you to take your belly button and pull it in and make your chest proud. Bring your hands over heart. Now, take the front leg, straighten it. Take the back heel, the right heel, drive it to the earth, push back up. Drive, tippy toes, heel, and tippy toes. And then hold up on the tippy toes. Extend the arms forward. Thanks. Now, reach forward more. Almost like there's a big lottery prize, $1.35 billion, just out of your reach. Or reach for it a little more. Nice. Now, pull your hands back over heart. Take that back foot, step it forward. Hands push to the sky. Big breath in. Powerful exhale, fold. Step or jump it back to your plank. Pull up and back to down dog. Right leg lifts. Switch it for the left. Keep alternating. And everyone get to the right leg up and right foot stepping forward up and in between the hands. Let's take that left heel, drive it to the earth. And tippy toes. You know the drill now, right? Up and down. Up and down. Holding up. Walking the hands up and onto the thighs. Take a big inhale, exhale. Let's get that upper body active now, growing the spine. Let's bring hands over heart. Let's straighten the front leg and bend the knee and straighten and bend and straighten and hold and extend the arms forward. Left heel drops to the earth. Push back up onto the toes. Do it a few more times. Your pace. So let's lean in a little more. Try to reach for the prize. Get a little higher. We calmed everything else. Everything's just reach, 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 reach. And bring hands over heart. Step the back foot forward. Beautiful. Hands push to the sky. Inhale, lengthen it all. Exhale, fold halfway forward. Sweep the arms into the body. I'm going to get a side view. So, spinal flexion, spinal extension. Spine is extended. Forward orientation, weight in the toes. Drifting back, weight to the heels. Keep that heel of each foot predominantly weighted. Thumbs rotating, thumbs rotating internally, thumbs rotating externally. Palms are facing away from the body. Let's lift the thumbs to the sky. Stand tall as you inhale. Pull thumbs backwards. Beautiful. Nice open expansion through the chest. Pull your arms together towards the center line of the body. Now, as you inhale, pull the arms out, hold them up shoulder height. Rotate the thumbs to face backwards. Use the fingers to pull the arms out of the shoulder sockets. Just pull, pull, pull. Take a big inhale. On the exhale, legs keep straight. Upper body nice and long. Begin to fold down. Fold, fold, fold. Hold where you've got a nice control, where you don't feel the upper body wanting to collapse inward. Take a big inhale. On the exhale, come back up. A lot of work going on. I'm breathing heavily. Sweep your arms to the sky. Nice. Hands come over heart. Come to the front of your mat. Take the left knee. Lift it up. Hold it up. As we balance here, it's interesting how our nervous system starts to interact with our musculature. So your foot, if you're listening to it or feeling it, probably rolls from side to side. Your toes are clenching now. I like you to kind of expand the toes. So we have most of the weight bearing happening either in the ball of the big foot or the heel, or equal between two if possible. So with the toes nice and relaxed, take the left knee, lift it a little higher, a little more hip flexion, and then take the left foot with the right leg remaining relatively straight, step that left foot backwards. So we were in this position earlier, right? Separate feet, nice and stable. Take the arms, extend them forward. Beautiful. This time we're going to interlock the fingers and flip the palms and push them out. Nice. Now, adding some rotation into this work. Rotation is not the arms moving. Rotation is the shoulder carriage moving. So let's rotate it. It might only be a few degrees. Whatever it is, rotate the shoulder carriage. Let's do it a couple more times. Slow.
Front leg straight or bent?
The front leg is straight. We're not bending that front leg. Got it nice and straight when we started, and it's nice and straight right now. And then come back center. Bring hands over heart. Back foot steps forward. Set up the body for the opposite side. Right knee lifts.
Whoops.
So to Kirsten's question before about the leg straight, when we start off straight, we keep straight. So don't feel inclined to bend unless it's needed, unless your body's saying, I need to do this. Now, find the balance. Big toe heel, toes not grabbing, you know, that grabby toe thing, don't do it. Take the right foot, step it backwards. Left leg straight, just as a reminder. Now, extend the arms forward. Interlock the fingers. Flip the palms. Rotate left and come back center. This is a nice rotational stretch as it helps our obliques lengthen on one side as one side shortens, helps work our balance. Those little intricate muscles that help us balance. If you feel a little shaky, it's okay. That's perfectly normal. Work to reduce the shake. Come back center this time. Bring hands back over heart. Back foot steps forward. Catch your breath. Push your hands to the sky. Say, oh my goodness, thank God that exercise over. Fold it down. Have a seat. Take a load off your feet. I'm a poet, didn't know it. Have a cup of water. Cheers. Happy New Year's. Cheers. Again, I know I said it earlier last week. Now, for those people I didn't see last week, I want to make sure everyone's included. Let's bring our feet out, sorry, the heels of our feet out to the sides of our mat. Let's take our toes and point them forward, and you can see, or maybe feel a little pull through that shin muscle. And we're just going to like stretch out a little bit, and then we're going to activate it by flexing the feet. We're going to keep the foot flexed. So the same thing that we did with the feet, flexion and extension, we're going to do with the spine. So I like you to round the spine forward, let the shoulders roll in, and then from the base of the spine to the top of your head, I like you to imagine there's a string pulling the spine nice and straight. So we're in a seated position. You might have felt your hip flexor is going to kick in a little bit. Let's use some assistance here to reduce some of the effective work on those muscles by putting the hands on the kneecap. Now, open up the elbows, so lift them up off the floor. Pull and push. So I mean, pull with the arms and push the chest out, crowding up the chest. Now, while we have that muscle activation going on, we're going to add into it. It's a little bit of amplification. So as the chest pushes forward, as the arms pull back, let's grow the head. Nice. Now, take a breath in, and as you exhale, take the right hand, reach it forward. Feel the disparity, feel the muscles of that right side kick in. Let's bring the right hand back. Let's reset. Proud chest. Pull with the arms, push with the chest. Left hand pushes forward. Switch. Proud it up. So this is a reset. Every time we come back, I want you to reset. So broadening the chest, pulling with the arms, extending out. So this is the right hand this time. Switching up. Proud, pull, extend. Switch. You know the exercise. Okay. One more time. Left side. Making it equal. Pulling down now. Broadening, pulling, getting it nice and set together simultaneously. Release both hands. Beautiful. Now, take the arms, sweep them a little higher. Now, how high you go is determined by one thing. The compression that starts to form in your neck. If you can raise the arms without compressing in the neck, this is kind of what it would feel like, it would look like. If you're getting that, you're lifting too high. I want you to just lift as high as you can where you can control the tension. This is all about expansion, not compressing. I know the hip flexors are burning. We're using them a lot, that's why. Hands come over heart, and then one vertebra at a time, lower down.
one of the differences when we sit and we're having hip flexion going on is that the hip flexors aren't really being used. There's no overload in them, but they're shortening up. So this exercise, we're actually physically using those muscles, which is why they're burning like crazy. All right, let's step the legs straight. Let's point the toes. Let's take the arms above the head. We're going to kind of lengthen out all of the anterior or front body muscles. So as the toes point in one direction, the hands and arms are pulling in the opposite. Follow out your belly. And then step both feet in. Bring your heels as close to your butt as you can. So there's a big, very acute angle in the knees. Now your tailbone and low back. The tailbone is a little bit lower than the low back. I'd like you to kind of roll the hips upwards. Kind of like we're doing, like a, I don't know, it's not really a Kegel exercise, but it's more of a hip rotation. So the pubis is kind of rolling up the sky. And how you know you're kind of connecting with this is if the pressure you felt on your tailbone is now your low back, the skin thereof, touching the mat. You should feel that touch. If you got it, perfect. Hold on to it. Keep that six-pack active by pulling it in towards your belly button. Now, let's just check with the upper body briefly. Shoulder blades. If you feel like your shoulders are rounded forward, I'd like you just to flatten them out, flatten the blades in the back. And then once you've got that, let's keep back to the lower body, making sure that low back skin touch is still on the mat. Take the left foot, lift it off the mat. Just an inch or two. Set it down, switch sides. So when we walk, we basically use left, right, or right, left, depending upon which leg you like to start with. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're just kind of walking as we lie down. Imagine if all our walks were this easy. So this is really activating some of our lateral and rotational stabilizers. Funny how that works. Now we have a high degree of flexion in the hips, which we typically don't walk with. We don't walk with our ankle between the upper leg and the hip itself is. It is right now. Now just fold up the left leg. We started with that one. Take the left leg and extend it. So the heels going to the ceiling, the knees relatively locked out with that leg relatively straight. I'd like you to draw in, just using the muscles, no towels, no hands, no strings attached. Pulling the leg towards the body, and then gently returning that foot back to its starting position. Taking the right side this time. Elevating, extending the leg. Straightening it out as we pull back the leg without assistance, just using those hip flexor muscles again, and then lowering it back down to the mat. Switching up the sides, an extension with the straight leg, and pulling back, and lowering back down. And we're going to do one more side. This is it. Lengthen. Pull back. These aren't strenuous exercises. We can go back to those. These are just kind of good exercises to do for balance reasons. All right, so now with both feet back on the floor, widen out the stance. Let's take the sides of the feet to the sides of the mat. If your low back, the skin thereof has lost its touch, I like you to kind of rotate the pelvis. You know, it's basically a forward to back rotation where you feel the skin touching. And once you have it, I like you to pull your belly button in and try to keep that really what's called extension, because that's the lower back. The curve is slightly different than the upper back. So let's keep the extension in that low back nice. And we're going to kind of flex the upper back by pushing with the heels and elevating your low back up off the floor. So it's like a bridge of sorts. So this bridge, you should feel some things going on. You should feel the gluteals hard at work. You should feel that six-pack muscle hard at work pulling the belly button in. And you should feel a little pull along the front part of the legs. And if you've got that going on, perfect. And now let's try to push up even higher onto the shoulders if you can. So this is how a bridge should feel. You should feel these muscles actively working the way they're working right now. And then slowly keeping the spine from avoiding flexion and extension. So we stabilize the spine as we lower the butt back down to the floor. And then we're going to peel up again one more time. So Take the pubis bone, and basically pulling from the pubis up and towards the belly button that's being sucked out by those big muscles in your stomach. And we're beginning to roll the hips up towards the sky, picking them up one vertebra at a time from the hips, pushing them up into the sky, keeping all of that nice activation, working hard, sorry. And then lower back down, extend the legs all the way out. Extend the arms all the way back. Take a big inhale, lengthen both ways. On the exhale, let's step it back in, bring the bottoms of the feet together, and let the knees kind of splay open. We're going to take a couple breaths. Just letting those inner thigh muscles find some length. And then we're going to bring the feet back flat to the floor and bring the thighs back together. Keeping the thighs touching, we're going to step the feet out to the feet stepping out to the sides of the mat. Let's take the knees and squeeze them together. And that, step the legs long without straightening. So we have a nice long, very obtuse. If you're not into geometric math, it's the angle I'm talking about here. The knees are almost straight, heels are on the floor. We do this exercise that Kirsten calls Sean's exercise, but nonetheless, it's a very therapeutic exercise. Now, the low back, I'd like you to try to get it back to the floor. It won't go, I know, because we've got other things going on with the lower body, but I'd like you to try to create that activation that we experienced earlier. As you keep that now, let's take the feet, make sure they're about hip width apart. We're on our heels. Those are our hinges, basically, as we rotate in to get the thighs to touch. So the kneecaps are turning into each other, as are the big toes. With that now, I'd like you to squeeze the thighs together. So we hold on that. I'd like you to work the belly now. I'd like you to pull in deeply. I'd like you to feel that belly button pulling in towards the spine. And as that's all being active, we're adding on to these things. We're not doing one and forgoing the other. We're doing them all as an addition to everything. So we keep that belly active as you start to crowd out your chest. Nice. Now, as we do that, let's take the arms and let them drop down beside the body. As you cup fingers and bring your fingertips to the earth, let's take the arms and make them nice and straight, just like we did with our knees earlier. You remember when we got them nice and straight? So we got that. We push the fingertips into the earth as we crowd out the chest. Now your low back is probably lifted off the earth, but I asked you not to do that, but you probably did it. That's okay. We're going to come back to it. Try to get that rotation through the hips. Keep those thighs squeezing. If I talk this to death, you want to release it? Okay, let it go. It's a trick that I like doing. Everyone's probably aware of it. Sean's talking, which means we're working still. Now, we're going to come back to this. We're going to add one little progression to it. We're going to move on. Lift your butt. Don't tell everyone my secrets, Kirsten. All right, let's squeeze the heels. Sorry, squeeze the thighs back together. We've got our heels being our hinge point. We know the setup. Let's just get into it. And now, take the arms straight long, fingertips pushing. Now take the heels, and I like you to start by pushing them into the earth, as opposed to just trying to lift from the middle part of the body. We want the posterior chain up along the legs, creating this activation of lift. You're going to feel your inner thighs, maybe, hopefully, and also your gluteals start to activate. Keep those inner thighs active as you squeeze hard and try to elevate. Don't compress in the neck. Relax there. And then lower back down, pull the knees up and into the chest, bring the forehead up to meet the knees, rock and roll front to back. As you come up to a seated position, extend the legs all the way up. Good morning. I've learned my lesson. Every time I go on my back, this microphone gets buried, so I've been holding on to it. All right. Yeah. TMI. It wasn't like I was kissing the mic. That is TMI. All right. So with the feet nice and wide apart. Feels good to do this, doesn't it? But we're going to be working ourselves today. We come into a staff pose. I'd like you to take your heels and push them into the mat and hold that little push. Now, you won't be able to exert a lot of force because you're basically not going to be able to do that. But I want you to try to create that activation. with the heels pushing into the mat as you create length through the spine. Let's bring the hands forward. Beautiful. So I have that slight push down in the heels. Keep that active. Now raise the hands up right about eye level. Now hold on that. Rounding up the chest. I'm working now to physically pull my shoulder backwards. Both sides. Let's take the fingertips, cup them, bring them together. Hold on to this. Beautiful. As you inhale, see if you can raise the arms just ever so slightly more. On the next breath, as you release it, bring hands over heart and Pilates style. One vertebrae at a time. Lower down. So extend the arms out. Drop the chin into the chest. There's a big flexion in the spine, the upper spine, of course. Lowering down. Extend the arms all the way back. And then sweep the arms back up over. We're going to do some Pilates style sit-ups. Let the hands push forward. Drop the chin into your chest and peel each vertebrae up simultaneously, one at a time. Dive in between feet. Let the spine flex. Hang out for a couple seconds. Enjoy that lengthening in the low back area. And then begin to keep the flexion in the spine, but you're just going to kind of roll backwards, opening through the hips and really trying to slow the descent using a number of muscles, but primarily our big six-pack muscle, the rectus spinae, is also working when we lengthen up. Get the hands coming back up. I said, we're going to do a few of these. So we're going to do the next one now. Let's get going. Got places to go and people to see today. Let's hang out here for a couple bit. And then slowly bring it back down to earth. Kirsten's enjoying this a little too much, I think. Hang it out. Extending all the way back. Lengthening all the way. And then the last one, gonna bring it up. Nice and slow. Enjoy, savor all of that muscle use you're experiencing right now. And enjoy the stretch. Take a couple of breaths. Relax here. And then extend to a flat back as you kind of straighten out, come back into your staff pose. Take the left and right foot and step them in. Grab the kneecaps and gently lower the upper body back down. But pull the legs with you. Nice. Pull the knees up and into the chest. So right now, if you're pulling in the knees, you should have a lot of flexion back. This is the maximal amount of flexion in hips. You can't flex them any more than what you have. Bring your forehead up to meet the knees, or as best you can, and then rock and roll front to back. Just to massage a little bit. We're not coming up. And then hold this. Keep the knees like hugging in, and then right to left. Just roll over a little bit. And then calm that. And this time, let's use it not rotation back and forward to come all the way up. We're going to roll, basically push through up and onto our toes. Mine's not going to look so elegant because I'm holding one. I might hit my head. Now, you can extend to a flat back, push the heels to the earth and let the butt rise to the sky and let the upper body fold back down. Feel nice lengthening through those hamstrings. Try to straighten the legs a little more. And as you do so, try to rotate the ball of each big toe into your mat. Take your little toes up off the earth. Pronounced pressure you should feel. The ball of each big toe. Let's work that a little bit. Try to push it into the earth actively. As you draw the hips backwards, straighten the legs a little more. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Keep the back in extension. Let the baby toes return back to the earth without gripping. Pull the hips back a little more. Extend the spine a little more. Tabletop position if you can. I walk my forearms onto my thighs just for support. You're welcome to do the same. Today you're feeling it. You can go without the forearms. Please do so. As you inhale and exhale, bend the knees, skier-like position. Take the arms, extend them forward. Nice. Now, drift back almost to the point where you want to topple back. Hold on that. Take your belly button. Remember how we practice touching the skin of the low back to the mat? The same muscle activation. Try to give me that right now. Extending the arms forward, reach forward, go for the big prize. Now, take the arms, sweep them down, open the palms to face the earth, sweep the thumbs backwards so the palms open up sides. Back with the arms all the way up, standing tall, seeing everyone's beautiful face again. Take a big inhale, relax the arms. Oops. Draw the shoulders up to the ears. I'm like shaking up my arms a little bit. Now, spiral the thumbs backwards, and then let the shoulders just fall where they may. Big breath in. As you exhale, pull your butt back, give me a slight bend in the knees. Very important here, like watch my hips. Tucking under, extending back, neutral between the two. So we're not back or forward, we're kind of nice and engaged right here. Take a big breath forward. Sweep the hands forward, shoulder height. Palms are facing. We're going to squat down and come back up. You'll notice I'm not using front muscles as much as I'm focusing on posterior, and it's simply by gauging where the weight experience is in my foot. If my toe box is pressurized, I'm using more orientation of the front muscles. Right now, I'd like you to get into those soon to be powerful posterior muscles. Someone's getting a little tired. Come back up. Bring hands over heart. Push the hands to the sky. Fold halfway forward. Just basically doing some exercise stretch movement. People don't consider it a squat a really great exercise, but it is really because it helps to lengthen and strengthen a lot of the muscles that allow three very important joints to operate: your ankles, your knees, and your hips. The better they function, the less the risk of injury the rest of the body, believe it or not. Now, sweep the arms forward, keeping folded. As you inhale, keep the arms forward, but raise the body, unhinging, reaching for the sky. So this is our version of a deadlift without weight. We're just using our body as a weight. But this is a great lengthening exercise where your glutes and your hands come back up. This may be too much overload for them, and you can tell, you'll see compressive things, little behaviors that show that the body is being overloaded incorrectly. So you can modify by putting hands over heart. This is like if you've got it and you're feeling it, do it. And if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. One last one, folding down. Folding, extending the spine, pulling back so you get those heels heavily weighted. Take a big inhale as you exhale. Let it fold down. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. As you exhale, sit it down.
Stretch time.
Yes. I ran a little bit over. I'm going to do some stretches. We're going to finish up. You know, when you're playing these classes, you got to pay attention to the time, Chief Snowy says. All right. Let's come all the way down on our mats. Our precursor for pigeon pose is really called the figure four. It's a great stretch because it allows it to be accessible for most people. If you prefer to do pigeon, instead of being on your back, you can get into pigeon pose. I don't find it upsetting when people are self-guiding. You know your body better than I do. So for those that are doing what I'm doing, we're in figure four. I've got my foot flexed. I've got a 90-degree bend on my left knee. My right leg, I'm trying to rotate it, not by pushing with my hands, but I'm using the rotational exterior rotators of my leg to try to open the knee away from the body. As I pull the left leg in, so my right leg is physically trying to open and rotate as I pull in. So we have a nice stretch going into those hip muscles. You should feel them going. Oh, are you kidding me? And then let's take a little breather. Let's set that left foot down, switch sides. Same setup, opposite side. Pulling in. Enjoying life. How good is this for my body? And as we set that right foot back down, bring the left foot and right foot, the bottoms thereof, together with the legs splay open. Knees back together, extend the legs straight. Point the toes. Let's strip the arms above the head and then use the fingers to just pull the arms long. It's not a maximal effort, it's just a relaxing effort. Take another breath in. As you release it, reset your body to what's comfortable for you. Let's take your head and slowly lower it to the right. You're just rotating around. Coming back up center slowly. And then the opposite side. And then let's bring it back up. Climb yourself into a seated position. Oh my goodness. Back to life. Back to reality. There we go. Yeah. This is why I don't have a singing career. All right, welcome back to life and reality. Let's bring hands over heart and let me thank you for your amazing participation today. Thanks for joining. Namaste.
Namaste. Cheers.
Cheers. High five.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
How's everyone doing today?
I have a house full of people, so I'm gonna run. And I'm not used to having 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds in a brand new painted house.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, I sound like the old lady. Don't touch the wood. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
That's so funny.
Okay. All right.
It's
Have a-
Maka's birthday today. Happy birthday, Maka.
It's Maka's birthday. Yes, we are. When she wakes up, I sent a present, and she's not allowed to open it until we're all together.
Oh, nice.
Are you able to
So
tell
I
us
go
what
into
it is?
surgery tomorrow, guys. So I don't think
All
I'll
right.
join on Tuesday.
Okay.
And I will know what they let me do on Thursday. I'll shoot you a message. Okay.
All right. Good luck. with
Good
it.
luck.
Yes.
Mwah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye bye.
birthday.
Happy Sunday.
Okay.